Alrighty, welcome back to teasers. I haven't done one of these in so long, mainly because there's been a lack of them for Redfall specifically. I don't know. When I upload this, I'd like some comments if I like to branch off and stuff like in Kaiser, Redux, or some other mod, or what blues, packs, Britannica, whatever. I'm gonna be sticking to some Redfall stuff, and I was just curious about whether you guys want something else as teaser as well. But I'm gonna show you my bread and butter, that being Red Flood. So yeah, in the next update for No Step Back, when Red Flood finally gets that patch comes out after it's been since November, so it's been like over half a year, close to about the time. It's been over half a year at the time of recording this. But yeah, we got some teasers over here with Germany, part of the No Step Back update. Called 2 Steps Forward. I think it's in relation to that. Anyway, actually, hold on. So, but I had to double check something real quick. So yeah, this little thing is part of Germany's tree. I think it's in preview of a big rework that's going to be coming out over here soon. So you got all this stuff over here, and what we're talking about is some of the more interesting stuff over here. Right now we're going to be doing some good old-fashioned reading. So then, Gotten Dammerung. Yes, I move around real quick. Serious smoke cloud water brow his furrowed brow mixing with the mist of the January fog. His eyes icy as I see the glaze as started to sting. There it was, front page of 4 of us. London dead, and good winds too, splitters. The whole lot of them, putting everything he had worked for at risk. Took a long welters of drag from his smokestick, laying the cloud filled along his memories for his head. Bauer never been the revolutionary type. It was such a thing to resist it. He was, as the name suggested, a farmer. His father, like his father before him, and his father before him, and so on and so forth. His grandfather, Siegfried Bauer, taking part in the social revolutions in 1848, but over time, he sort of became a plowshare. That's how I started getting with that. Tilling the Bavarian soil. With time, Walter too had become a father. Although he was no longer a farmer, when Ludendorff began tightening his grip on the South, Walter took his plowshare and joined the people, if nothing more than to defend his homeland, faith, and family. With the revolutionaries won, the SPD secure, Walter and his family soon moved to the city as part of the proletarianization effort from. I don't remember. I forgot where I was for a second. Oh yeah. I think it was passed on to the people. If nothing more, defend his homeland, faith, and defend. Which the final one, Walter's family moved to city as part of the proletarianization efforts by Liebknecht and the party to modernize the German countryside. Yet time passed and Liebknecht stepped down, starting in old age, soon after Luxemburg herself died, replaced by Karl Kautsky, and was apparently distraught at both the lands back. With one fall swoop, broke from the party, founding his own sectarian group, just like the Protestants of old. Walter couldn't believe the fool, ready to turn his back on the party of the revolution, and for what? So they could reverse the efforts that had brought modern life to this family, so they could turn back the clock and slow down socialism. Walter let the smoke plow out his lung. Yes, the SPD had begun moving in a strange direction lately. Premier Levy's reforms seemed misguided, but he still upheld the spirit of revolution after all. Party was one of Luxemburg, of Liebknecht, and not Lenin, not a party of dogmatic fools. He shook his head, clearing his thoughts before he get too upset. Walter checked his watch. Break time was over. With a sigh, he put a cigarette on Len's face, then drew 2 for a try. As they walked back to the farm work, his mind went one last time back to Len, the man who had wanted to take away the new life given to him by the SPD. His brain articulated that perfectly as he picked up the hammer and set back to work. Good night, Gravedigger. Yeah. Then exactly, what like over here? Little God. London. Another god social spectre I found today is former revolutionary so-called liberator of Budapest. Vladimir Lenin has died of a stroke. 65 years old, the aging leader of Germany's Communist Party has sustained injuries during the time of Hungary, helping to pop up Bela Kun's regime during the fires of the Great War. Peter, that these injuries thought to be minor, contributed to his alien health. Although his death still cannot shock to many. Originally hated from Russia, Lenin was expelled from his native Social Democratic Party by the leader Alexander Bogdan of 1907. From there he traveled to Switzerland in 1918. He served both the Hungarian and German revolutions, sitting in Berlin. And settling Berlin, foreign minister. Yeah, in 1920, Lenin broke from the German SPD, signing clear revisionism and formed his own party, the Communist Party of Germany. Upon his death, the party will have the second unity. It seems the sands of time wait for no one, including those learned in life. A more red later less. That was the Great Revolution. Shocking all today as protests in Vienna, Austria over the death of Kaiser Franz Ferdinand had escalated to a staggering degree. All across the Empire, cities, Vienna, Prague, and even Leibach have broken out of socialist uproar and barricaded and constructed from street to street. Violence and counter-violence alike have spread throughout the country, and both the imperial forces and German nationalists have begun to brawl with communist agitators. Further in the violence, not only the newly crowned Kaiser, Karl I, on his way to coronation in Prague, his motorcade, I don't know how to say that. Motorcade was shot by a Czech independence activist with ties to the Austrian left. Leaving wounded with the severity of injuries yet fully manifested, left the empire temporarily without a head. The vacuum of Rome began to tear itself apart. So I'm gonna read this and then I'll read all the national spirits. Poor on the March actions. Paul Lee resisted listening to the rise of increasing war. His premiership role again precarious, overseeing the mass exodus of the left and right party in the KPD and the SPD respectively. Think about the implementation of discipline and yet somewhat unpopular normalization of the revolution, while diplomatically and economically met a significant part of his party was getting sick of him. And what he absolutely did not need to fix this was advisors would tell him. It's been called Red Vienna. What? With temporary absence of the emperor after the death of Franz Ferdinand, certain communists used the opportunity to seize Vienna, some Prague too. Respectively we will come to their side. They made a laugh. Eternally, of course, were these men mad? What do they think had changed 15 years ago? Was Rome bred as well? Was someone breaking their chains in concordance? Believe me, no, there's no laughing matter. While the invasion would be a diplomatic suicide, sitting by would be political suicide. The opposition would never show that he had failed to spread the revolution or finish the German Revolution or whatever revolutionary phraseology would suit them. But what Livy made better than these men was his pragmatism. Came all the insult, but at the end of the day, Livy would have a revolution and they would not. Issue a seamless solidarity, but nothing more. Peace at all costs. Now, Les National Spirits. Them portraits definitely been updated. A lot different. Let's see. Democratization of the public. I'm going to read this order. So go from here and then go from here. Democracy of the proletariat. Bitchin' PP. Decent stability as well. I don't really care about drift defense. It's not really anything to worry about. Like many things in our opposed, the roots of our political lead back to the revolution. When the workers revolted under the flag of social democracy in the West, the front of the East saw their own billion. So if we can't follow for Ludwig rose up under the leadership of Otto Braun, Ernst Junger, Karl Patel, and Ernst Röhm. All the brave and noble comrades sympathized with the proletariat cause. This is one crucial difference there. Let's all stay with civil. Unlike the SPD, the soldiers saw New Germany as a great modern national republic. Since it was growing tense and compromise had to be made quickly, nationalists couldn't accept the voices of some communists calling for a dictatorship of the proletariat, which demanded for a one-party state ruled by the SPD. Instead, the workers and soldier councils came in to help. From that point, Germany was made a democratic council republic with a central legislative figure elected by members in local councils, where all parties that swore commitment to socialism could run. First party registered for the SPD and Pétaise, a group of social revolutionary nationalists, which later reformed to the accelerationists SRNP. Soon, conservative nationalists, moderate revisionists, Christian socialists, and the Leninist ultra-left all found their own fashion, giving rise to a chaotic republic of councils and parties. Hold on. I had to check up something real quick. Anyways, cradle of communism. So no limits, so it's nice. And defense and cartels also as well. So while the retention limit 50%. Oh boy, proof relations, don't really care about that. So this is all around boss really. I don't really care about. I got to defense and improve relation opinions. It's not really something to really worry about. Anyway, Germany is no doubt a long history of social democracy in all the world. Our country, the birthplace of the G's of Marx and Engels, also is a great second international. The heroic organization still leads the proletariat struggle across the entire globe is born. Sorry, son. Just give my thought. The history of socialism reaches long back into the past century, and even though the entire length of it, Germany has labored towards the workers' cause. In this small big victory against capitalism. In the beginning of the Great War, all seemed lost. The SPD was banished, the leadership jailed. Falling true to its principles and refusing to support a bourgeois war that spilled the blood of European proletariat. Then, as Germany was losing ground, the war serious came. The military clique that seized the government was swayed over by a madman, Erich Ludendorff, to declare a total war. The first day in May 1918, German people could suffer no more, and war was beneath the red banner against the war and tyranny capitalists brought on Europe. And our journey from the darkest hell of capitalism turned to a bright torch from the new world. Our public glows bright with the hope of oppressed masses of all continents. The about German people's resistance is told in the furthest corner of the globe. Everywhere where tyranny reigns, research soothe the hearts and kindle a new flame. We see the pride of Germany has been born in the dream of communism. Dream of freedom, dream of equality of all. For all, sorry. Yeah, seems that really one thing to see, they think very highly of themselves, being the revolutionaries. Mind them since Russia, the Bolsheviks failed in this time to protect. I think Zoltarossi still got that whole thing for these. I mean, technically they could win in Russia as well, just so that it's a far different because there's no, but it is Stalin actually, if I remember correctly. Although I think he's in Kafka's society, which means he's in Georgia. So it's not actually Stalin, he would be Jewish, really, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff that they teased off my head. I'm pretty sure I covered this in other teaser videos. I don't remember, it's been a while since I've seen them, and like there's been like a long drought. Because it's been like bad thing because of this whole update. Anyway, no addition of the revolution. Somebody's died, but the production officially cap is cufflinks, suits, entirely uniform of the revolutionary the Golden Center. The working man's men since 1833. The one who rebuffed challenges from left and right. Corrected course and now stand brave in defense of the revolution from our absurd and ruthless enemies of this world. We, the SPD, will take Germany to victory. Partly an organization campaign has so far been a model as tradition from imperial to radical up to Germany as a whole. In the years settling down, the rebellion effort was decentralized among the councils. The organized issue would be primarily targeted under lefty. With mixed results, moderating the council system has received harsh pushback with the attempt at quell revolutionary isolation in favor of building a friendly-faced socialism hand-in-hand with some moderate members of the international left, sour taste in the mouths of some. Despite this, we push on, attempting to build our revolution, our socialism, and our Germany, one step at a time. Cool. And it's the backward south. I think Italy also has something like this as well. But I think like Italy, they'll be able to get rid of this in due time. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That means you actually get only 30 plus PP with the 50. Bavaria's first revolutionary impulse was killed before it could walk. Flickering flame of the Munich Council Republic was quickly quelled by the revolutionary wave. Today, Bavaria remains the undecided province, still predominantly agrarian. It lacks the proletarian-based lords of the revolution. Masters cling to the voice of the Catholic Church, a strong foundation to bring social order, listening more to the priests and social democratic agitators. From this led many conservative parties get to support the CSABPD, who want to give socialism and democracy a Christian and moral tint, or the DSRP of Joseph Goebbels, relying the spirit of past revolutionary romantic nationalism. While we could ask for more from these factions, they still retain a commitment to socialism and revolution. Worse than that, Bavaria is the home of several reactionary movements such as pan-Germanic agitators, spreading from Austria or the terrorist Greens. Action needs to be taken, or the gap between the South and the rest of Germany will grow larger. So the point of me is the volatility of our union. Potential civil war, maybe? Who knows? Anyways, the shower Virtag, I think that's it. Tag bonus to the German Empire, which I think is in Prussia, if I remember correctly. When we took our arms against the tyranny of Ludendorff, our revolutionary brave from the east, Poles, Ukrainians, Lithuanians, and Belarusians, rose against Kolchak, forged and fire our friendship stays enduring us together. We fought against the double-headed beast of reaction in Europe. To dismay of some nationalists, we recognize Polish borders in return for the Poles giving up claims to Prussia, currently occupied by imperial forces. The pact with the Intermarium brings many economic, diplomatic, and military benefits. As stated by bourgeois nations, we don't serve thanks to Ukrainian wheat, and want a factory with Polish coal. Most importantly, our eastern borders stay secure. Common Grey helps the futurist threat rises in the west. Oh yes, the future. The future. Anyways, sorry, you know your boys gotta do that. You know. Made the trenches. Reminds me of fucking Kaiser Reich's memory trenches as well. Was this? Maybe it's the second film. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played Kaiser Redux. I play Kaiser Redux, so I don't know. I know there's a lot of things different. I prefer Kaiser Redux, for those who don't know. But you can tell by now it's a channel. Anyway. Sorry. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, debuffs. The Soviet nation is constantly plagued by the memories of the Great War. The horrors of the trenches, the tyranny of Lund brought about the people to revolt. All those weighed heavily on the spirit of Germany. Those who remember say, never again. Never again should sons bury their fathers. Never again should wives weep for their beloved. Never again should anyone be subjected to the foul trench existence. Never again a war. Those who fell to these feelings watch in horror and made the new generation call for another war to finish off reaction in the east or destroy the western hydra. Roused by skilled orators like Ernst Junger, who glorify the trench life, the young god thirsts for revolutionary violence. To a great warrior and pacifist, soon I begin. Because we know that the Great War is practically inevitable. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. A new war vows. Probably we disagree with the news of snap election has led to a reassessment of strategy on all parts of the German political scene, and for the nationalist cohort, there's no exception. Surprising amount of overlap between political organizations given the lack of conventional right-wing nationalist party within the German political scene. At the front of the herd is the Deutsche Soziale Republik Party, DSRP, which has been a popular stint bearer of German nationalism since its official founding in 1923. Allies of Heinrich Laufenberg and Fritz Wilhelm left the SPD over issues between the Hamburg-based organization, the National Program, and the party. However, also joined membership from the group Social Revolutionäre Nationalisten, GSRN, now the Social Revolutionäre Nationalparty, SRNP, which founded the German Revolution. Naturally, there is much to disagree about in the conglomerate as there is to unite them. While substantial portion of the DSRP's basis rural agricultural and amenable to religious socialism of the CSA-PD, the party as a whole is far more leftist than the SRNP, with roots in the western and southern side of the early revolution. And that's what the SRNP's maximalist revolutionary nationalist program attracts a more urban and less traditional membership, as well as being a de facto the Soldiers' Party due to the origin being the Soldiers' Council of the eastern side during the early revolution. With German politics and flux, the DSRP leadership must ask itself with some important questions about the relationship. Will continue to work alongside the SRNP harm their chances of making a coalition for other parties? Will Bangla put the national cause in this way? The party searches for an answer. So we can cut formal ties. No liquids be forgotten. We shall read. And this one leads all the way to there. Yeah, they all lead to there, but certain things lead to here. Anyway. A new KPD chairman. With very satisfaction, we must note the party that owes existence to dissatisfaction with the government after Rosa Luxemburg now faces his own faction to dispute over the death of its leader. While Vladimir Lenin's uncompromising course has seen the Kommunistische Partei Deutschlands seize the lever of the power of mad revolutionary credentials and dynamicism, and mainly figure of party unity. I'm sorry if I hit the microphone. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure everything's on fine. Without the Russian exile directing things, the KPD heads to Bremen without a course already decided. Partly his party is on the defensive, yes, but the faction under Heinrich Brandler argues that the opportunity before the KPD is not that a majority, but to become indispensable to the renewed SPD government. The electoral calculus makes it clear that the KPD cannot form a government alone. After all, its closest ideological ally would be the SPD, reminded of its revolutionary principles. All the options are unthinkable. If the SPD throws out the leave clique and is willing to let communists in from the cold, the KPD could see the government once more, but it's unclear if the Social Democrats will reciprocate this early in the election season. Uninspiring or realist, perhaps, but the Brandler faction oversaw its appeal to the brazenness of opposition. There's another thesis defense by Karl Radek that the KPD can ally with other outside parties, the DSRP, and the SRNP, to channel nationalist grievance against the Germans toward the struggle of the working class. Working with the SPD after its betrayal of Austrian revolutionaries and the bad blood of the last 7 years is simply too much for many within the party, and without to bear. But it's working with the nationalists of Bruce too far, and would they receive Jew with open arms? Fewer strategies, fewer strategic pictures uncertain, but the party needs to choose on Central Committee to choose Karl Riddick, Heinrich Brandler. In the meantime, only young Germans. Somehow, the internal drama of the DSRP and its fellow travelers has required more effort to sort out the SPD. Libya's ignominy has preserved the revolutionary nationals with a golden opportunity, and the West parties, they all know it, and want to lead the charge with glory. Nevertheless, despite the passionate arguments by many contenders, the leadership question has begun to revolve around two men with vastly different ideas and generations of the party. Ernst Rathenau is the flagbearer of the old guard, so it seems, as well as the Windkindisch, I think I said, faction. Frustrated by the inability of the Empire to win the last war, the former noble was viewed soon after the councils of revolting soldiers. By the mid-20s, he had abandoned his ties and political identity. Politically heterodox, the former count is somehow the revolutionary SRNP's most favored candidate of DSRP's leadership due to his radical and national renewal, but also a firm candidate for many culturally conservative socialists. His political commitment to intensify elected proved alienating some of the voters in the sake of a new generation of is represented by Joseph Goebbels, a proponent of social republic idea. The charismatic propagandists lead the so-called Hakenisht faction of the DSRP. Yeah. A romantic nationalist, the young Goebbels are called for renewal, a liberated revolution that equals the dreams. Evoked the dreams of 1848. His affinity for German peasantry also gave him an improved capacity to build bridges with the CSABPD. But his youth and later connections to the old GSRN Guard made him the first dream. Regardless, the parties convened a battle and mailed out to all members of the organization after careful time and consideration. The DSRP has found a new chairman or candidate as either Goebbels for Greater Germany or Rathenau for Greater Germania. Well, the Weimar Pact. Then we shall read this. The election of Heinrich Brunner, or the chairman of the KPD, led an opening to back channels between the upstart communists and the beleaguered SPD government. Though a selection of new leadership has given the party a new outlook, hanging into the snap to lessen the coalition politics of this proletariat republic makes certain conclusions escapable. Without allies to the right in the SPD, the SPD is going to look to a more revolutionary party to form a government and polish the credit as socialists. The chairman Brandler proved amenable to being realistic in his demands. The option to open for the SPD to make a show of cooperation, perhaps in the neutral town of Weimar. They hammered out agreement to reduce the amount of campaigning against each other. They start making plans for the future of the government. But of course, some of the party's right wing, who are mostly the architects of Levy's domestic policy, find the prospect of governing with the KPD unpalatable. The hope is that the disorganization of other political coalitions will allow the SPD to come with the election with a commanding plurality, or some authorities contend, majority, with the form of coalition as a fact, the league of the lesser parties and to be realistic. And so we decide, to humor the KPD or not. We're gonna get Brandon down the line or no choose with the offshore left. While Levy faced Jerusalem. Very intense stuff we got going on here. Very in depth. Kind of intense stuff. Comrades, I asked Chairman Levy how he could leave the Austrian Americans on the code while the Austrian Americans scream for liberation. Levy said nervously looking out at the Congress. Hold on. Anyway. Convened emergency over the not labeled Red Week, the whole room felt like it was on a vertical explosion. Scenes of revolt had been published all over German media, and the people were outraged along with the representative. Of course, he sympathized with the Austrians, but how could they expect him to risk a war with the great power for it? Germany had no taste. Germany was no state for it, and now with its barely functional army, still recovering the economy and shattered politics. The East Side, knowing that answered his personal representative. Comrade, I asked, are you unaware that the Austrian Empire has the backing of the Italian and British governments? Are you unaware that support for these strikers would lead to a war? But everyone should not follow swiftly to eradicate war from the face of this earth. I cannot say in good conscience that I was willing to plunge Germany to war for the sake of revolutionary adventurers. Without the Congress board, the typical subject from the ultra of KPD would complain of a lack of courage in the SPD leadership. His own party seemed split between tired apathy and raucous disappointment, and oh Christ, Kautsky was shaking his head. Sky ASPD representative could be heard clapping, which was more indictment than praise. But loud protests came from the nationalists in the DSRP and the SRNP, every single one from united with the utter hatred for him. It was originally coordinated before entering, from Goebbels to Nakish to Braun to Wolfheim to Patel, all brought together the pure endless and bitter hatred for Levy. If there was 1 ounce of justice in this world, the Austro-German proletariat would storm into the building and drag you through the streets for these words. Find one of the more moderate SRNP representative. It was not a good day. While the changing of the Red Guard. odds were on Chairman Kautsky in the Berlin Party Convention. Suddenly, Lee's premiership had been symbolic, but the grand old man of the SPD still had grown up beyond its station. The structure of the Social Demokratische Party Deutschland. Sorry. where the party chairman picked the premier directly that gravitas counted a lot. Much speculation had been made about what he would say given the snap election, but the mechanism of the party leadership would be opaque. Because before we proceed today, Premier Leader would like to say a few words. She backed away from the podium more polite, but subdued applied verbally to the meeting hall. Premier Leader advanced to his place, looking for all the world more alone. Wondering what was going through his head, his fingers found purchase on the side. What has the last 8 years been for? Can anyone have held the party together after Rosa? Was he even wrong about Austria? Whoop, hold on. Sorry about that. I don't know what the dog was barking about. Wasn't anything. Anyway, let's see. When the party chairman picks the premier directly, everyone has counted for a lot. Much speculation has been made about what he would say during the snap election, but mechanisms of the party leadership would be opaque. Because before we proceed today, premier let's see if he was it. Looking for. How do you feel about paying for his blood even within his own party, and how? For the sake of the party and the social state represents, I will not be staying as the party leaders in the coming election. Murmuring immediately became pandemonium, but Lee quickly backed away and walked off stage. Kautsky reapproached his place and found himself waiting for the water down. Surely by now, they were wondering who would be named the heir apparent. Surely there were negotiations underway before Lee's announcement. His preordained candidate would be either Herbert Pham, who was his youth leader, Bertolt Brecht, playwright and theoretician, Ernst Mayr, the party radical, or Ernest Sears, poet and patriot. All of them lead into the Weltenbrand. Sorry for that. Pierre quite beneath Walter Brauer's wetted hands of a working man. These hands were those that built Germany, those that saved Germany, and recently those that voted for Germany's future. Because Brauer voted for the SPD, that Donald Levy, stain upon the party's name, had been removed. The new candidate seemed quite promising, much more promising than the others, that's for sure. Brauer laughed at the idea of electing a nationalist, regardless of how socialist they came to be. It was against the spirit of revolution, whether the DSRP had participated in the thing or not. The revisionist was much more worse, though, and was no less brilliant. In fact, the ASPD, again, traction was worrisome. Although Brauer did not lose sleep over a gaggle of fool with no calling. No, what truly Brauer worried about the KB's performance as of late. SPD's besiege on all sides, the radicals of the left grabbing control of the state apparatus, was something Brauer could not have stand for, much less when done by vast splitters dictating the party's line. With lands passing, Brauer had hoped that the damned party would just die, but it seems as though the devils escaped hell created on earth. Ash from a cigarette fell from his headline. Brauer's line of thought was interrupted by the sound of hitting paper. He shook his head, attempted to clear out his worries. His cold, tired eyes took a long gaze at the rag. Be at the name of the party to govern for years to come. And seeing that it was, okay. Let them if we choose. Anyway, for this one, we're going to be going from right to left over here, for left to right. And we're receiving left now for last. It's very interesting stuff I've got over here, especially by that description over there. Anyway, the ASPD victory in German election. A rosy dawn had settled atop the German Republic, and newly sworn Premier Karl Popper had won the snap election to wake up Polity's resignation. The news that shocked the international community, the ASPD has won, bringing the SPD below them as a minor partner in the government, has rolled out the BPD. This is the first time the SPD has lost control of the government, and a complete surprise to the party is now a member of the Second National. Somebody marked the Popper during a speech in the Hertha Congress, proclaiming that the victory of the human race and the tender touch of socialism. However, Popper ended his speech with a toast to the late Edward Bernstein, former chairman of the ASPD, revisionist bar none. Despite cheers and words from both sides of the aisle, only time I could tell this was beginning the end of the revolution. That flag has pink. Very pink. Progressive democracy. Not just Germany. Democracy. Orthodoxy. The SPO victory, the German election. Face a smile in German tears, the newly sworn premier. Either one of these four. At one snap election in the wake of Paul Levy's resignation, hearing from the Orthodox made the SPD, it appeared that the pure agenda had put their trust in the party again, with the ASPD and the KPD as modern partners in the winning coalition. By concern that Levy's recent action would break the wall of the SPD as he hopes that the GSR, seeing that the list known, travel over the unknown. The most Wall Street voices said with so-called Pope Marxism, Karl Kautsky, chair of the SPD and leader of the Orthodox wing, and speaking to go into the Nevada Congress, Kautsky heralded the return of order and promised that the revisionism of Levy would be corrected. With all the talking the Pope has done, some of that despite the occupier throne changing, the power lies behind it, yet still. Seeing the Orthodox have risen from the dead, with help from Spartakism. That's my Bertolt Brecht and Spartakism. Not the Spartacus. Not Spartanism. Spartakism is completely different. Spartanism is something completely different to this. What's red Spartanism? Would that work? I don't know. That seems too outlandish. Extremely outlandish for it to actually be a fucking thing. Anyway, Orthodoxy at the helm. So I'm assuming that these are like probably a start or like at the beginning of the focus tree. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell based on where these are. We have to wait until the update comes. Anyway, we've got the KPD victory in German election. The red sun has risen above Germany. The newly sworn Premier Karl Radek has won the snap election to wake up Paul Levy's resignation, showing the SPD's domination of the political landscape. The recently formed KPD has claimed victory along with my partner, the DSRP. Radek, a long-time revolutionary, decided to bring his victory to speech broadcasted across Germany. In it, he called upon the mental Linden of Luxembourg, of Liebknecht, and all the other old heroes laid to rest. Radek slammed the SPD for abandoning their legacy and values, swearing to correct these issues post-haste as well. Radek denounced the SPD for the previous collaboration with the ASPD, citing a fresh start to the German revolutionaries at the end to throw those who bow to capitalism. The radio relay ended with the rendition of the International sung by KPD Party Choir. Lenin lived after all with Karl Radek. Leninism. It's like the fucking war communism thing. Sweep to go clean. Based upon that, I assume it's gonna be like that. Technically make him a Trotskyist. Technically. I mean, I don't know exactly how Karl really is gonna be doing things. But I'm assuming it's gonna be like, war of revolution kind of shit. But actually trying to do it. It would be interesting. Anyway, we got Goebbels, and this is a completely different version of Goebbels, by the way. Because as I said before, this is a Goebbels who remained true to his communist roots. Because Adolf didn't come in and made him as we know him in our timeline. Anyway, the DSRPH victory in the German election. A new day has broken over the German people. The newly sworn Premier Jules Goebbels has won the snap election in the wake of Paul Levy's resignation. He from a Catholic family working class background, Comrade Good proved his commitment to the revolution. When, despite the formerly in his foot, he took up arms in 1918 against Ludendorff's regime. Now the stalwart leaders of DSRP and his Heckernisch ring has overcome all odds, bringing the SPD's chokehold to the German political scene for the first time since the revolution. This second oldest party in Germany, the DSRP, has claimed victory along with their junior partners in the SRNP, KPD, and the CSABPD. Goes first at his premier to hold a large speech in Berlin, promising a new beginning for the German people and the completion of a social revolution after both fought began in 1848. Attending the event, the crowd was led to a cheer of long live the social republic, which raised in the air and what times being once thriving breathing body. Red, gold, and black? Anyway, so it's republicanism and the capstone of idealism. So yeah, it's not going to be like I think this guy over here is going to be the vocal here. Yeah. What that? Yeah, my throat's pretty dry from reading all this. Yeah, so it's Republican. This is going to be a very different. It's going to be very different from stuff. So yeah, all that stuff basically, all those playthrough of old Germany and France. That's going to be the legacy stuff. Which is why I said them back then. I was going to do them because I knew that at some point they were going to be. If I didn't really do the same with Germany, I kind of wish that I did. I had something to do, but at this point, I don't really care. What's done is done. I'm not going to revert the game back just to do stuff with Germany. I already did what I wanted to, and I'm pretty sure there's other players that did that. Anyway, the DSRPW victory in the German election. Going down is broken over the job people that do the sworn premiere instant red for Laos when the snap election to wake up Polly's recognition. The Dark Court can't do the controversy on this name, nevertheless he and the DSRP were able to pull victory from the Georgia defeat along with their minor partners, the KBD and SRNP. In fact, this is the first defeat the SPD has suffered, for the only 5 wolves surrounding the election. In order to celebrate Red Laos held a parade for German culture, experiencing the long past of German people and looking forward to the bright futures ahead and British socialism. Parade tied together folksy imagery with revolutionary fire. Oh, interestingly, there seems to be a lack of Christian history in the parade. Since the CSA PPD has brought up with ire. Despite these woes, it seems that Red Laos with his Vindukindish wing is here to stay. Although God only knows where Germany will go from here. Some kind of national socialism? Maybe. National vanguardism. Release. It plays in Germania. Anyway, look at that. I think the time is 35 minutes I've been doing this. Yeah. I'm calling this quite late as well, so I'm a bit tired as well. My throat kind of hurt from seeing all that. But yeah, I am very excited for the German update. The first update is going to be the France update, so while I'm very much looking forward to the France update, I'm also looking for the Germany one as well. It's just like a little preview that's going to come 2 steps forward. It's basically like a little taste, a little crumb of what's to come. Basically laying the foundation of what's going to be. I think that's why this updates, the no step back patch is taking so long. It's because a lot of things have been changed. A lot of things have been laid, the foundation of, really. Because nothing was really set in stone, but now they're really like solidifying everything. So this is why this update was taking so long. Although I do hope it comes out soon because I really want to do some stuff and I really am curious about what they're going to be doing with some of the stuff over here. But yeah, that's going to be the update for now. I think there was some other teaser. Oh yeah, this is the flag for Germany over here. Look at that. It's nice, isn't it? At least I think it looks nice. It's pretty cool. But yeah, this is the flag for Germany. I think this is back. I don't remember if this is like, you know, regular Germany or not, but I think this is like the starting flag. I don't remember if, I don't think they said they changes. I could have completely missed that, but I don't know. But shit, I'm very excited for this. I think you guys are gonna be excited about this too whenever this comes out. I'm excited for this. Cause your boy will be going back to some of that good shit. Cause I really would like to do some Red Flood Riders, some Kaiser Redux. Cause I've been doing a lot of Kaiser Redux. But yeah, because I've been branching out to do like Overall Brews, and I'm thinking about doing a Pax Britannica series. I think I know which one I want to do. It's like a few of them I want to know I'm gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna be anything off here with all these fantastic portraits, and yeah, I do hope that you guys enjoy this series. Little teaser bit. Sorry that there's been one teaser vid in like a while. There hasn't really been much, all things considered. So I do hope that this big old teaser comes. And just enjoy it. Little preview of all that stuff will come. I don't know when it's gonna upload. This might be uploaded like tomorrow or something. I don't know. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully these we're able to get back to the swing of things with more teaser stuff and all that. It's been pretty cool. All this fascinating stuff. So yeah, see you later. Bye.